those adjustments and because of these shocks, according to Mr. Piketty. That's wrong. There's only one thing that can curtail the natural development of capitalism. Only one thing.
Socialism.
And that is,
Shut up.
it would be good if you'd be quiet. You know? The one thing that can stop the bosses from taking your wages and everything is unionism, getting organized. It's working people. So what really happened in this period from 1914 to 1980 or so was that the workers' movement was very, very strong. If you know your history, you know that the Socialist Party was very powerful in the early part of the 20th century. They were getting millions of votes. They had people in Congress. They had people being elected. They had mayors and dog catchers and people being elected all over the country, the Socialist Party. And in 1905, 1901, they started the Industrial Workers of the World, which was a very militant union kind of thing. They weren't really exactly a union, they were really revolutionaries. But they were scaring the bosses half to death. And they were winning some really big strikes. They were winning a lot of little strikes, little farmer strikes and lumberjack strikes and things like that. But they won some really big ones too. Patterson Silk Strike, Patterson, New Jersey, I think it was. And in New York, the textile workers, women, young women especially, were winning some big strikes with the Industrial Workers of the World. So there was a very powerful workers' movement starting back here. In 1935, the Committee for Industrial Organization got started. And the Committee for Industrial Organization took a different attitude toward organizing. They said, we're going to organize everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, we're going to organize you. It doesn't matter if you're black, we're going to organize you. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer or if you're sweeping the floor, we're going to organize everybody. And that was different. It was a very, very powerful idea, very strong idea. And it turned out that they organized millions and millions and millions of people. So between 1935 and 1947, I'm sorry, the percentage of workers that was organized went from around 10% up to 33%. A third of the workforce was organized in that period around 1947. So, and that was also true at the national level, at the international level. When was the Russian Revolution? 1917. Back here. And during the Great Depression, the socialists were saying that, look, there's only one major country in the world that's not having a depression, and it's the Soviet Union. So they got very, very popular. They were very, very strong and very popular during that period. And I'm sorry, this distracts me when you do that, and I lose track of what I was trying to say. So they were very popular. Then came World War II. And in World War II, there was a resistance movement. You've seen a million movies. I saw one today about the Maquis in France, right? Mm-hmm. The underground that fought the Germans. Mm-hmm. And this was worldwide. There was occupying armies from Germany and Japan were holding a lot of territory, and there were people fighting back. And the people who fought back, they were mostly socialists. They were working people. They were for the working people as against the fascists. And at the end of the war, they were extremely popular. There was a guy named Enver Hoxha in Albania. He got to be the head of state for, decades afterwards. Marshal Tito in Yugoslavia. He led the resistance. He was a socialist. And then he led the country And Yugoslavia was a big country at that time. Look at Ho Chi Minh, led the resistance to Japan during World War II. He was a socialist. They were very, very, very popular. The main one was Mao Zedong, who led the resistance against Japanese occupation. So during this period, the workers' movement was very strong. And that's the only reason that you had a dip in inequality. And that's what's leading me to the point that I wanted to make, which is that you have to have a strong workers' movement to solve the problem of inequality. If you look at the whole graph, don't just look at the part that suits you, just from Reagan on. But look at the whole graph. You realize that, and Piketty will tell you, if you read him, that this going into inequality is natural. It's what we have. Now, the labor movement began to die out in the 1970s.